Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Ask Dr. Mumbi. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray, family, that you are well in absolutely all your ways and that you're moving into living life very much on your own terms. We are releasing way more information on TikTok, so I guess if you're not in the divided states, or if you are, definitely follow us on there at Dr. Mumbi Show. We do put a lot of those shows on Instagram as well, which is the same name, at Dr. Mumbi Saraki, actually. And special shout out to everyone that supports us on Patreon and on PayPal, family. We appreciate, love you so much, and may you be blessed in all your ways. Special shout out to my co-host, Errol. And yeah, I've been getting a lot of questions from people about what is really going on. Because when I share what's happening in Kenya, for example, where all of a sudden the divided states is coming, okay, all right, come on. Where all of a sudden the divided states is coming for Kenya hard. You know what I mean? It looks like they have their puppet president in position. Ruto actually recently went to the divided states, courtesy of our billionaire, potential former CIA ambassador, who organized all these meetings for him, and he was the first president to go there in 18 years and all this stuff, and they did the biggest state dinner that Joe Biden has done in his presidency. It shows you that Kenya is like on the takedown. They're coming for us hard. Then when you look at this engineered weather and how we have floods in our capital cities, and then now we're watching a lot of our shanty towns be demolished. It's like they're making way for a Nairobi without Nairobians or a Kenya without Kenyans. There's a lot that's happening, but when I share it, family, a lot of you in other parts of the world are telling me that, it's the same thing is happening in Jamaica, where they're buying up all the land, they're putting up all these high rises. A lot of Mzungus and other people are moving in. It's happening all over the world, except for West Africa. The Ibrahim Traorés, they're creating their own federation. They're moving forward, family. And what I feel when I look at all this situation is that we are experiencing a global invasion. We're experiencing a global takeover. They've already told us in so many movies, which we thought were for entertainment purposes, but they were actually for, predictive programming purposes, to use us to manifest the reality that we are now being walked into. Europe is being collapsed. I think they were talking about how Macron and all these people, have literally collapsed Europe. The divided states, they keep Obama releasing the movie where literally civil war breaks out in the divided states, confirms their agenda and leave the world behind. And we all know that they have a target of 2030, which is literally just around the corner. And so I really feel what we're witnessing is not individual events happening in silos, but the entire world, family, they're now going for global dominion. This is what they tried with COVID. This was the whole purpose of COVID, family. But they weren't able to implement their plans because the reverse happened, where a lot of people awakened. A lot of people, just by having a timeout to themselves, were able to break through over a lot of the programming and conditioning. And so the climate change lockdowns and everything that they hinted at, they didn't actually fully implement. But what they're doing is like they are taking over the world, family. Let me know if this is what you feel in the comments. For me, it's so obvious. It's like all the presidencies of the world are being hijacked and manipulated and controlled. It's like they've implemented Confessions of an Economic Hitman on a global scale. And I've talked about this book so much. Please go ahead and read it, family. It talks about how the divided states has managed to control a lot of countries in the developing world. How they'll come in with one thing Then when that fails, they'll come in with the civil society and the IMFs of the world and the World Banks of this world. They'll try and hijack your economy. They'll try and get you to privatize everything. They'll get you to overtax your people so that you're unpopular. And then you're literally stuck between a rock and a hard place, which is what we're seeing with Ruto. Because after everything Ruto has done to follow the IMF and World Bank rules, they now released a statement saying that his punitive taxes were not going to work and they were going to destroy the economy. These guys played both sides. And the reason I even wanted to address this, family, is because the war is not coming. The war is already here. And we just have to, number one, keep our wits about us. Because there's also that spirit of exhaustion, family. It's like literally all hands on deck for them. They're collapsing. They want to collapse the mind by collapsing everything that they have, the foundation they've created for the mind, the narrative they've created for the mind. And it all comes back to the narrative, family. Because I also feel that we are not alone in this global takeover. That there is spiritual assistance. But at this point, it's hard to tell what is the spiritual assistance and what is Babylon playing with the weather, creating all these situations. I know they're not 100% in control, but they've mastered us from a physical level, from dumbing and slowing us down through our food, from global MK Ultra, from distraction through fake celebrities and people that don't matter, fluoride in our water, whatever you want to see. There's so many ways that they've done it. Twisting up history. And so the only thing I can say, family, is hold on tight. Keep your mind and wits about you. Don't go too much in the past or too much in the future. Try and focus on right now and what you can do to secure your immediate today and your immediate tomorrow. A lot of us are going to, because they're collapsing everything from the whole working narrative. But when we see all the robots that are coming into the divided states and everything, to the global censorship, where they make us feel free because we're saying so much, but actually nothing is being said because it's almost paralyzing us because there's too much information out there. If there was ever a time for you to practice your spiritual life, no matter how hard it is every day, family, make sure you are putting your intentions into your future. That you are telling the universe, that you are telling the Great Mother, that you are telling the Most High Creator that you want your life back. You want to live life on your own terms, in your own narrative. And you reject all foreign and artificial narratives. Even if you're just doing that, it will help us in this warfare. The thing is, family, we don't lose. But what is at stake and at risk here is the fact that so many people could be pulled back into a loop of slavery and colonialism, back into that cycle. We are at the point where we can be liberated or we go back into that cycle. Literally, this has created two narratives, and literally there are two earths, there are two worlds. Don't allow Babylon to trick you, abuse you, manipulate you, bully you into going into their world and their narrative that is collapsing right now. Focus on your spiritual life as much as possible, because that is the vehicle to your liberation. Tuko pamoja.